If you've tried every self-love routine, done the practices, read the books, and you still don't feel a deeper connection with yourself, then this video is for you. I'm going to tell you why those practices and the books aren't working for you and what to do instead. I'm going to give you a process that really works. So you are not broken. Self-love can work for you, and I'm going to share it and prove it to you through sharing my journey with self-love. And it's a journey and a process that has lasted for years. So it's not something that's going to fade away. You do have to keep it up though. And I'm going to share that with you. Essence, I am a feminine energy healer, a sensual yoga teacher, and feminine embodiment guide. And I have a quiz for you that will help you discover who your feminine energy archetype is, the divine feminine guide who is here for you right now in this phase and season of your life and your healing. And you can take that quiz over at the selfworshipschool.com. I'll have the link below. All right, so let's dive in. Okay, so I received this question where she's like, I've been trying to grasp self-love, trying to understand it. I've done the practices, I've done the challenges. Nothing is working for me. Can you give me a plan? And so this is how I want to answer that. And so I can give you my own understanding, my own definition of self-love. I can even give you a 30-day um, calendar with journal prompts and exercises. But at the end of those 30 days, you still may not feel any closer to yourself. And that's because it was created from me and for me. And so that's what happens when we read the books and we download those Pinterest challenges. They're not specific to your soul. And so, to me, in my opinion, the real self-love that really works is the self-love that you define for you right now in this moment, in this season of your life. Okay. So, the best way to really explain what I mean by this is to share my story and then we'll go deeper from there. So, I first started my self-love journey back in 2012, and I knew that some things needed to be changed with me because I was just attracting these toxic relationships, and I understood that it's from the toxic relationship that I had with myself. That's why I was attracting these men. And so I'm searching YouTube and everything, and I came across this question. Um, and she said, if I loved myself, what would I stop doing? And it was like I paused that video and I was like, if I loved myself, I would stop drinking and I would stop smoking cigarettes, period. And it just like something clicked in me. And like that's exactly what I started doing. I put all of my energy into breaking those habits because I could see how those habits were driving me to have an unhealthy relationship with myself and to love and to like myself way less than what I knew was possible for me. So, what I realized is that when I would get drunk, it was like blackout drunk, and I would be either crying or I'd be really mean to like a friend. And then that next day, I would just wake up feeling embarrassed or ashamed from all the crying or from whatever mean thing I said about myself. And it was just like I got on my own nerves because I was just stuck in this pattern of this same thing happening over and over and just like feeling shame. And then I was mad at myself about smoking because, everything that they say, about how bad it is. And yet it's like I can't stop. This thing has this hold over me. And it just made me so mad. Like I felt weak to it. And so I realized if I keep doing these things, it's not going to bring me any closer to myself. It's just going to keep driving me further and further away from my own self-love. There was no process that I started to follow. I just was like, I'm done with these things. So once I said that, what bubbled up was, okay, I can start drinking coffee to help handle the cravings. I was never really a coffee drinker, but that bubbled up from my inner healer. So I listened. Also, the next thing was like get an e-cigarette. And I did that. And I remember buying it and smoking it, and it was helping. And then a week after I bought it, I dropped the e-cigarette. It broke, and I was like, that was like $15. I'm not buying another one. And when I made that decision to not buy another one, it's still not buying any cigarettes, I was like, dang, maybe I really do like myself. Maybe I really do love myself. And I remember that feeling. That was like the first sign that I'm on the path to loving myself and seeing myself differently. And then the next was, my friends calling saying, hey, do you want to go hang out? You want to go to this bar or this club? And I was like, no. No, I'm not gonna go because I knew I was not strong enough to just go hang out and not drink. So it was like I was choosing myself. And that again was like, dang, who is this girl? Like, am I really doing this? Am I really amazing? And it just started to build up this sense of pride inside of myself. And it just kept me going. And it was not easy. It was hard. Like, think about these are things that most people like have to get professional help to quit both at the same time. But I really understood that this is what I needed for my journey. So now let's circle this back to like checklists and reading books and that kind of thing. As if somebody had have given me at that phase and season of my life, somebody had given me this 30-day checklist. Here, do this for 30 days and you're gonna love yourself. It wouldn't have really worked. It would have, been nice and cute and been helpful, but it wouldn't have really worked because as long as I was still drinking and smoking, which led to me hating myself and feeling shame, I could never really truly fall deeply in love with myself. So I want to kind of demonstrate what that looks like, kind of by using my hands. So let's imagine that self-love is like just living from your heart, being in deep connection with yourself, being just like rooted right here in self-love. Okay. What happens to us from our upbringing through society, through church, TV is we end up at a young age moving from being in love with ourselves and biting our toes and putting on our mom's makeup and thinking we're cute. Like we leave that place, that childhood innocence of self-love, and now society has made us out here disconnected because we've learned that we're never enough and that our hair isn't right, our body's not right. So we're living out here, okay? And so I learned that I'm disconnected, I'm living out here. And then I'm like, I want to come home to myself. I want to start loving myself. And I get this 30-day calendar and I'm doing the things. And it's like, this is the self-love car out here. And I start to do a U-turn and I'm driving back home towards my heart doing these self-love practices. And they're so beautiful. And I'm coming home. But then Friday night hits and I go get drunk, blackout, find out that I was really mean to my friend, and then now that shame and that self-hate is pushing me further away from myself. And then Tuesday, I'm over my hangovers and I get back to doing this calendar. I'm taking bubble baths, I'm putting on nice clothes, and I'm coming home to myself. But then Thursday night, trivia night, we go drinking, and here I am drunk, smoking cigarettes, hating myself, right? So you see this pattern. I could be doing those self-love exercises and they're nice and great, but if I'm still doing the things that are causing me to hate myself, I'm just kind of doing this weird zigzag thing where I'm never really fully arriving here. And so for that woman that sent me that question and like doing the things and it just not really clicking, it's this is because this is happening. I'm sure there's been some change that you see within yourself, but you just can't quite get there because you're not doing the thing that you need right now in this phase of your life to help you really love yourself and to start to see yourself different and start to feel different about yourself. So, no more generic self-love stuff, or don't solely depend on that. It needs to be done in tandem with the things that you need for your soul. Okay. So, I want to pose that question to you. Well, first, let me say this because I honestly think if I had to give you some homework, it would really be to start with defining what self-love looks like for you right now in this phase of your life. Because right now, self-love might look more like, let's say, some body image stuff, right? Or for another lady, self-love could possibly look like leaving a relationship, right? So when you define what self-love looks like for you in this moment and in your life and really understand like how will you know when you get there? So for this lady, it might be like I'll know that I'm at the place of self-love when I fully accept my body just as it is. And for this woman, it may be like I'll know that I'm at the place of self-love when I'm attracting men who respect me, right? So then when you know what self-love looks like for you in this moment, then you can ask yourself the question, well, if I loved myself, what would I stop doing? If I loved myself, what would I start doing? And then get those answers that are specific for you in this journey and where you are right now, and then do those things for 30 days. Show up for yourself on that path that your inner guidance, your intuition has laid out for you to do, and do those even when it's hard, even though it's messy, even when you want to quit, you just keep showing up for yourself. That is going to drive that self-love car straight here. And then when that feels solidified, then you may start again, right? Now in these 30 days or 90 days, what does self-love look like? And then you do that and you just keep showing up for yourself, doing the work, dropping the habits, changing how you see yourself, and you just keep coming home and having more and more of you anchored here. Having more self-love in my heart just led me to keep doing the next thing I needed to do for my journey and the next. And so the next thing, it was like celibacy and then forgiving my dad. And I just kept doing these hard things. And then I ended up attracting love. I found my purpose. I still have not had, well, I haven't had liquor since 2017. I haven't had a cigarette since 2012. And my inner healer has just been guiding me on every step of my self-love journey. And right now, self-love looks like visibility and showing up and sharing my journey and helping other women get connected with their body. So, like, self-love in this phase of my life is about really being in tune with my gifts and sharing them and not hoarding them out of fear of rejection and working through my rejection wounds. And just know that when you sit down in the beginning, you might not hear anything. Like it may feel blank when you sit down and ask these questions. But I want you to know your feminine soul, your intuition, your inner healer is here. But oftentimes, if you haven't been listening to that, it may be quiet. It may want to know that you're serious about this before it just lays out everything for you. So don't give up. If you don't hear anything today, sit back down tomorrow with your journal and your pen and keep showing this part of you that you're serious. And then the wisdom will start to come through. This is also another reason why I created my Divine Feminine Archetype quiz, because a lot of times it's really easy for our inner healer, our inner child, to speak to us through archetypes. And so, to me, on this self love journey, it is really about connecting with our divine feminine nature that is love. And so, working with the goddesses is really going to help you have some clarity and more understanding around what it is that you need right now. So, take that quiz, you'll get a workbook, and really start doing the work. All right, so I really hope that this video served you, that you sit down, not when you're in a rush, when you have the space to really listen and answer these questions and take that quiz over at the self-worship school.com. The link will be below. And I also do private energy healing and coaching and guidance, and I will be able to help you really commune and connect with your inner healer and like help you on your own path and help you keep moving forward on the path that's right for your soul right now in this season of your life. So that information is also down below. I really appreciate you. If you like this video, if it helps you at all, give it a like, subscribe, and I would even love to know like what you are taking away from this video, like what stuck out for you. And let me know. All right, I will see you in the next video.